Welcome to Myths. I'm Matt Huff.
And I'm Dan Rhodes. Whether you know about Theseus or you're revising your syllabus,
If you want tales with a bit of jest, or you just want to hear about incest.
What?
What? It's really interesting.
Welcome to Myths. Welcome to Myths.
Hello and welcome back to Myths. This is episode 132. I'm Matt Hoss.
And I'm that other guy.
And together we are strong, I imagine. How are you, Dan?
I'm very good, thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast for the 132 time.
Yeah, well, actually not
130
technically 132, because...
But hang on, when the other guests did it, did we still count those as canon?
Yeah, they are. Oh my god. Like, right, you can't come in here saying that the guest episodes, which I worked really hard on during the Edinburgh Fringe and other times, whenever we set to a weekly schedule, I proper went for that as well. And then you can't just say it's not canon. Like, are you trying to retrospectively, like, are you retconning our podcast?
Yes, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Okay, this is a good question. If you were going to retcon the podcast, what things would you fix?
Well, unfortunately, we only have 45 minutes today, but I would probably fix... And no, I wouldn't have gone back and done the league table. Out of principle.
I'll tell you what, Dan.
I probably would have maybe thought more about the implications of doing the Weetabix challenge.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone was... After episode 8, it's really a downhill slog, isn't it? So... well, you know what? It's really interesting then, because we've done Myths for a really long time. Like, what was the first? We started recording in 2017, late 2017, and and at the time I was convinced that this would be a hit podcast, and that's interesting.
Yeah. How time flies, huh?
Yeah, still no call from the Apollo, but never mind. Like, but it's fine. What is weird though, Dan? Because talking about retcon, this is actually the perfect kind of fit into the podcast. Because like, people know I do this podcast, and with Twitch, I kind of have like a newfound fan club, which is really awesome. But what happens with that is that people go back to listen to Myths in 2017, and Dan, what do you think I would change about our podcast if I had to go back? Because there's a lot I think I would like to change.
I think you would like to change several things. Firstly, I would say episodes 1 to maybe even 20 is peak sad Matt Hoss. I'm talking living in a car. I'm talking female problems. Not that you have female problems. I mean, lady, you have girl problems.
I think
you don't have lady parts to have female problems. It's not like you're on a period or anything, but you know what I mean. Relationship problems.
It definitely. Yeah, it's certainly a time where I
cared a lot.
Yeah, I thought the purpose of comedy was to relieve pain rather than to actually be funny. You know what I mean? Like, I remember very vividly recently, because there's a lot of things I've been reflecting on recently. Like, I remember I was, for my master's dissertation, I studied stand-up comedy, and my dissertation was about how comedy can affect change and create a positive force and stuff like that. That kind of idea. And for the longest time, I just assumed comedy was there to do something. It was a vehicle. But like, I remember sitting down with Richard Herring, just chatting to him, and I was like, but what's the purpose? And I really kind of was like drilling into this point. He goes, you do know that the purpose of comedy, the priority is to make people laugh. And it blew my mind. And I was like, fucking hell. I
think that is because you studied it to a master's degree. You studied like stand-up comedy. And I feel like that meant that you had overanalyzed everything. You spend your life, you see it from an academic perspective, and you lose sight of the main goal, which is just to have a good time and make some people laugh.
Yeah, I think I put a priority on the other stuff rather than comedy when I performed it, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't totally hilarious. But yes, so yeah, there's many things I would like to retcon, Dan, and yeah, that those first 20 episodes are quite bad, and also I feel kind of embarrassed about those early episodes because I definitely was a different person to who I am now. 'Cause back then I was kind of sad and just kind of lonely and kind of like this person who hasn't blossomed yet, and now it's 2021. I'm sad, lonely, I haven't blossomed yet, but now I'm older, you know.
I mean, the first few episodes, let's not forget, you were worried if you were gay or not.
That's episode 10. I remember that. Now I have
Good
like,
times.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I do have a theory on that, and but I'm not gonna say it today.
No, that's fine. I no, we are. It's been becoming a long time. I've gone through quite a few jobs since we started the podcast.
Yeah. And so
You,
yeah. How's your life changed?
I think it's changed for the better. I think we're grown up now. When we started, Matt, we were just pre-pubescent. No, we weren't. Well, I maybe
Pubescent.
was.
Like Ganymede.
Like Ganymede, yeah. My butthole was tight.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
god.
All the callbacks. No, I. Oh god, if no one gets that reference, that's.
I
Gonna
think
seem
I
weird.
think it's quite a famous. To be fair, already in this episode we've already done more niche callbacks. So
Um, no, I think we're more mature individuals.
I
We
feel
have a
more
structure
level-headed.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a house, or you're trying to you bought a house.
Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah.
It's on the way. You have a lady person in your life.
Not lady problems though. But yeah, it's definitely very different. And even in the last year, since lockdown, I've changed a lot as well. I think I've blossomed and refined a lot more as well. So yeah, so I think we should retcon the future, Dan. We should, uh, kind of do stuff to kind of like make sure the future's good. What's the future of this podcast going to hold?
Well, recently it will probably be semi-regular episodes.
Yeah.
It would also, I reckon, the future is, and I don't want to. I think maybe a multi-billion-pound Disney deal.
Yeah. Imagine this show on Disney Plus.
Some kind of like animated series where they animate our podcasts to the
Yes.
myths that are happening.
Right.
That would be sick, by the way.
If you have a team of animators or you know someone at Disney, can you please get them in touch with us? Our email is misspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
make sure to check that account once every 6 months. So, like, be patient.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just feel like that's where it's going, right?
Well,
It just needs to animate. Like, we need to imagine how good that would be if you animated the. I mean, I'm terrible with animations. This isn't going to happen from my end, but like you do our podcast and you even animate the intro, which would be quite hilarious. So you'd have to animate Matt's sad stories from episodes 1 to 20.
Oh man, that'd be so funny. Like, right, can you do a draw? All right, everyone at home, can you do a drawing and tweet at us at Miss Podcast? Matt in his car, looking sad at a woman who hasn't slept with him.
Oh
Yeah,
god!
fun times. Good
Imagine the
times,
animation
actually.
of the Weetabix challenge.
Oh yeah. I'm still up for it, Dan. Once we have a bit of time, I think next time we meet each other in real life, we should sit down and do a retrospective record where we sit down, listen to the first 20 episodes,
I'm up
and
for
do a
that. We
commentary over the
review
top of
our
it.
own. Yeah, I agree. It was like 4 years ago, though, wasn't it? Like you said, so
Yeah,
pretty
it
crazy.
definitely changed a lot in that time, but yeah.
Pretty crazy. Just before we go, Matt, onto the or not go. I mean, go into the actual
Myth. Yeah.
myth. Can you please quickly, just for 2 minutes, summarize when you text me the other day to say that you mentioned him earlier? Actually, Richard Herring. I think you had
Yes.
something happened to him recently. It sounds, and I asked that maybe you could tell me on the podcast, please.
Yes, so on Twitch, if you're not familiar, there's a system called raiding, which isn't as bad as it sounds. It's really good. So when your show ends, you have the choice to deposit all of your fans who are watching you into someone else's stream. It's meant to show cooperation and stuff like that. It's a really good tool to build a network and stuff like that. So that was nice. However, earlier in the year, I talked to Richard Herring about doing a project, about doing Twinge Festival, which is something I set up in August. He politely declined because he has a lot going on. I won't mention that on air right now, but yeah. And Richard Herring is definitely listen to the first 20 episodes and see how much Richard Herring influenced me, because that
We went to
is
see
my
Richard Herring. I went to see Richard Herring with you once, and it was
yes
so,
in
so
London,
good.
and Dirty Dicks in London.
Yeah, it
That
was
was great.
so good.
And yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, I interviewed him, and yeah, he was a big. He's a really amazing shows, and one of my favorite stand-ups ever. And I was really quite obsessed with him. I was just, at one point I was so obsessed with him. I shouldn't say this on air, but I knew he lived in Shepherd's Bush in London, and I was doing a gig in the evening, and I thought, why don't I just ride the tube around Shepherd's Bush, and I might see Richard Herring.
Did you?
No, because that's fucking mad, mate. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? Like, because that is genuine stalker behavior. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
But and
Again, we've all
my
changed.
my life could have been very different.
Yeah. Um,
I feel like I am one step away from being a horror like uh character. I'm like the Michael Myers of podcasting, like a visual, like a verbal stare. You know what I mean? Um, but anyway, it's Halloween themed. Yeah, but he
nice try.
yeah but with that though, so I was just playing the game the other day, and I don't know why, but Richard Herring raided into me. He kind of took all of his fans from his Me One
Richard
versus
Herring
Me
raided
Two.
into you. That's something I didn't think I'd hear today.
Well, I had a lot of dreams. But yeah, it's one of those things where it kind of blew my mind. It was so nice. It felt like yeah. Joking aside, we joke a lot being like not making it on this podcast, but that felt like a moment there where I got that validation. It's like holy shit. I've worked towards a lot of stuff. It meant a lot. It was good.
That's a proud moment of you. Your idol raided you. Your comedy hero chose you as the subject to throw all of his people in
Yeah,
Twitch.
and to be fair, you don't have to raid, but he rarely doesn't, and I don't know why he picked me, but he did pick me, and he went over to me. It was very nice.
Was he there as well? He said hello.
He actually didn't,
Oh.
but you don't have to. But yeah, and to be fair, like most people kind of raid and dash, but sometimes you can do. But so he didn't say, and he didn't reply to me on social media, but he said it in spirit. He's busy.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. I went to see some comedy the other day, just quickly. Went to the
Uh,
Secret Comedy Club, when you turn up and you don't know who you're going to see.
mhm.
And I saw Larry Dean, very funny guy, Scottish guy.
Oh yes, I hung out with him once in Edinburgh. Very
Yeah,
nice.
very,
I
very
fun
good set.
fun story with Larry Dean. I at the end of Edinburgh Fringe, I went to go and get a thank you card, but there's a lot of people want to say thank you too, so I bought a lot of the cheap cards. Classic Hoss, right? And I was buying them for like 30p or something like that. And Larry Dean walked in, and he kind of wandered up to me and goes, "Oh, 30p cards. They must have meant a lot to you." Yeah. So
I'm also trying to see who else I saw. I cannot remember his name, but he was also very good. What's his name?
was it
What's
Dave
his name?
Chappelle?
Yeah, yeah. Nabil Abdul Rashid, I think it was. Yeah, it
Oh
was.
yeah, he was on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, he was good. He was very funny as well. It was him and Larry Dean.
Good lineup. And Dan, what is it like when you see those other comedians do it? Because I'm obviously the best professional comedian But like, what were they like?
Yeah, they were. Well, I think the difference between you and them is when
Careful.
they were doing the set, there was like maybe 100 people in this comedy club, and when they were doing a set, they had like their structure was like say something, lots of laughter. Say something, lots of laughter. Say
Hmm.
something, lots of laughter. Like they had one of those kind of structures.
Yes.
Whereas you have one of the, you have more of like a say something again. Repeat the thing again. Say the thing that you said the first time. Tap the mic.
Yeah.
Then laughter. And I feel like, it's just different styles.
Now, my style is a tried and tested method. Thank you very much.
No,
And
look, I've told you this before. When I came to see at the the new Wimbledon studios,
yes.
I came
Just
to see what your
say
set.
theatre, but say bracket studio because that sounds better. New Wimbledon Theatre bracket studio. Yeah, just
When I saw your Wimbledon theatre, I'll just say
bra-
that, and then you can
yeah
decide which one you wanted.
bracket
Um,
studio.
I said that your set was much improved. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was hilarious. I really feel like that Richard Herring's advice about making people laugh, it showed. I thought it was
Yeah.
really, really good. You've always been very funny though. I really play hard on you, but I've
Oh,
always really
thanks,
enjoyed
man.
seeing you. You're a
That's
very funny guy.
To be fair, I've done many gigs where there've been absolute fucking car crashes.
Yeah, I've actually only ever seen good ones from you, to be
Oh,
fair.
thanks, man.
Which I
Um,
think is the norm for you.
yeah, you see me do quite a lot of different versions of shows. But yeah, it's been good. But yeah, Dan, how are you doing in your life? What's new with you?
Um, Still got a job.
Yeah. Well,
Still not a spy.
no, no. Or would you? Do you take inspiration from the James Bond film, being like, "Oh,
Actually going to see it tomorrow. Have you seen it?
I have seen it."
Is
Yeah.
it good? People say very good things.
I will say I'll tell you off air, but I kind of think that I think it's not. It's okay. The ending's fantastic. The rest of it's kind of felt like filler, in my
That's
opinion.
interesting. Okay, because people have been saying very good things, haven't they? So
Hmm.
I'll let you know my opinions when I see it
We
tomorrow.
gotta have a film chat sometime, Dan.
We should.
We need to have a cinema trip sometime.
Matt, should we do the podcast? Should
I
we
think we should.
do the second part of? I've got another little Chinese myth for us.
Another Celtic / Chinese myth. All right, let's give it a go. Rightio. So today, I have no idea what we're talking about today.
Do you
Dan
remember
has
last
sorted it.
episode? Do you remember Pangu?
Pangu, yes, I
The
actually do.
creation, the Chinese creation story.
So I remember him being like an atlas figure holding up stuff, and his body. He spent like a lot of time in the egg. He held up the
He spent
sky
like
for a bit.
13,000 years in an egg, and then
He died pretty quickly, and then his body became the Earth, right?
yeah. In a nutshell.
Now he's
Now
an egg.
there's quite a few Chinese gods, and they've all got interesting names. But there's one god that has I think, the most interesting name. He's simply called Monkey.
Now, I don't want to ruin anything because I'm not. This is the only thing I've read of the document, and I didn't read this beforehand. I've just read this now. But the title for this is episode 132, the infamous, irrepressible Monkey King and the Great Sage of Equal of Heaven. And it's like that is the best title we've ever had.
That is the best title we've ever had. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, this is a Chinese god. So yeah, he's just called Monkey because he's looks like a monkey. That's how he's depicted. He doesn't. That's not like Pangu, who had an actual name. He's just, it's just a monkey god. Not the god of monkeys. I don't think. I think he's just a god that happens to be a monkey. If that makes sense.
Well, that is very confusing.
It is. But he's called Monkey, and I thought he has a nice little story. So I thought we'd maybe start with him.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. Shall we just go straight for it?
Let's do it. You want to start?
Yeah, I would love to. So
Yeah,
this
go
is
on.
the infamous, irrepressible Monkey King and the Great Sage Equal of Heaven. From the beginning of time, a certain rock on the mountain of fruit and flowers had been soaking up the goodness of nature and QI energy. I'm going to say that again because I think it's chi energy.
Chi energy. It is.
Yeah. Do you know how I know that, Dan?
How?
It's because it's spelled QI, as a layman said it, and I use that word a lot in Scrabble to get you get out of those pesky Qs.
Nice.
And it's my highest because it's a 10-point word. So you put that together, done. 11 points. Or on a double word score, 22 points.
Thank you.
On a
For
triple
more
word
Scrabble
score,
tips, follow Matt at.
that's my new podcast. Dan, I've also got another thing to say. But I'll tell you afterwards. That thing is that I've been practicing my reading, but I want you to guess why.
Okay, we'll do that at the end.
Shall I start? I'll start again. From the beginning of time. From the beginning of time, a certain rock on the mountain of fruit and flowers had been soaking up the goodness of nature and chi energy. One day, this pregnant rock released a stone egg, and from it hatched a stone ape, who solemnly bowed to the four corners of the earth. Okay. Then jumped off to have fun. Right,
Good
okay.
start.
A lot happened there. There's a mountain that laid an egg.
Yep.
Can rocks get pregnant?
Apparently.
Have you ever fucked a rock, Dan?
I'd prefer not to comment.
And not only does the rock uh, give birth to another rock, it gives birth to a stone ape. And not only is it a stone ape, it jumps off the earth, the four corners of. So this is a flat Earth theory.
No, it just says then jumps off to have fun. I don't know if it jumps off Earth or if it
Oh,
just
wait.
like they just mean it jumped off the rock and started to, go to do its thing.
Okay, I understand. Fair play. This was Monkey. He was a high-spirited, egotistical, and full of mischievous pranks. Monkey is like the Loki of the Chinese mythology.
I believe so.
Okay. He was soon having a wonderful time as King of the Apes, but a niggling worry began to gnaw at him, one which would change his life. The Monkey King feared death. Well, to be fair, who doesn't, mate?
Sounds a bit like you, Matt. Mischievous, high-spirited, but always worried about the pangs of death.
Existential and
Existential crises.
Monkey had a lot of thoughts about his head in episode 10. To find immortality, Monkey became the disciple of Father Sabodi, a rather dour Taoist sage. This sage, unimpressed with his simian tricks, gave the Monkey King a new title: Disciple Aware of Emptiness.
That's harsh.
Disciple Aware of Emptiness. Again, quite existential. This feels like a Radiohead album. It's all going
It
on
does,
here.
doesn't it? The disciple aware of emptiness. He's like, you know what you are, Monkey? You're a good disciple, but you're very aware of death and emptiness. So I'm going to call you the disciple aware of emptiness.
I think there's going to be a better title for that, because that's
Probably has. I feel like the sage really. I can already tell. I'm sure he's great at a lot of things, but I don't think giving people titles is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Monkey was very pleased with this epithet, not realizing it referred to the vacuum in his head. Oh, Monkey. I love Monkey. He's a cheeky boy. I love him a lot. After much haggling, Father Sabodi uttered the words of illumination and explained the process of cloud flying, and also revealed the secret of the 72 transformations, which, thought Monkey, was extremely good value for money. Extremely good value for. I love Monkey so much. Like, I'm gonna say this, Dan. We have a lot of great people on this podcast. Characters we've had, like Odysseus, we've had Oedipus, we've had Norse gods, we've had Horus and Set. And now I think Monkey might be my favorite person of all.
I feel like he's just he's having an existential crisis, but also he's quite stupid, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah. Which it really is the vibe of this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, instead of being like, yes, I have been given many powers, he's just like, yeah, this seems pretty cool.
Yeah. But also, there's a lot going on here, and I'm gonna say WTF and creativity are gonna be high today, because
I should also say, by the way, skim reading this earlier, I believe the secret of the 72 transformations, I believe that is a myth in itself that I hadn't quite thought I needed to do before this, so maybe I'll do that next time. But I think that's its own thing in Chinese mythology, so I think we'll cover that at another point. But I think it's like the ability to change into many things.
Okay, well, can I guess how many things you can change
Yeah, how
into?
many things do you think the 72 transformations to continue into?
I'm gonna guess 72.
Oh!
So close.
So close. It was 72.
Also cloud flying as well. What the fuck is that?
I think it's either just flying, because clouds are up high, or maybe the ability to only fly in clouds, which I don't think is as good, apart from if it's overcast.
Yeah, well, the Overcast Monkeys sounds like a cool band. But yeah, so I thought it was going to do like a Norse thing and just say a thing, assumes that we know about it, and move on quickly. That was the vibe I was getting there, but never mind. Dan, do you want to take the next bit?
Returning home to his monkey subjects, he discovered that they were under siege by a fearsome monster. Magic tricks were no good. What he needed was a weapon. Firstly, I know they said he was the king of the monkeys, but we didn't actually they skipped a huge chunk of when he became when he got his monkey subjects.
Yeah, and
We
also I
just
don't know why,
that
but
happened at some point. He was the king of monkeys. Yeah. He needed a
mo-
weapon to defeat this monster, though. That's kind of cool. So he
I just
whizzed
find the
off.
term monkey subject just I don't know why, but it's very funny. Monkey subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So he whizzed off to the Dragon King, Ao Guang, and cajoled his way into the treasury, where he found the great magic wishing staff, a huge rod of black iron which heaven had used to flatten the bed of the Milky Way. It weighed 13,000 pounds, which could expand to fill the universe or shrink to the size of a needle.
Wow. I mean,
Damn.
there's a lot going on here, and also I want to know more about Al Guang because he's
I
like
think, by the way, that's a god in his own right, so we will be doing him at some point, the Dragon King.
that'd be great because because the Dragon King sounds really intense, and this monkey's like, yeah man, can I have your staff? It's like. Just like if I gave you the money, will you just leave and never return? Like he sounds like he's a disappointed stepdad. Yeah, I mean,
He does. He does. He does. Because this story is of Monkey King, but then there's also Dragon King. There's a few other animals in the
oh, I
Chinese calendar that are
see.
gods, you know.
Yeah. What is there going to be one like which like Shrimp King or like what's the most most Porcupine King? You know, like I want to see
Yes, those
Hamster King.
famous Chinese animals, the famous Chinese
Yeah.
zodiac animals of porcupine and shrimp.
Yeah. Of course. It's a year of the shrimp. Come on, people, get together.
But there's a lot to construct here. So he's come back to his monkey subjects. They're all being. He doesn't say what kind of monster, but it's fearsome, so it's scary. And then he's like, "Shit, I need to get a weapon. I know. I'll go to my best friend. I don't even know if they're friends actually. He just maybe colleagues.
Mhm.
Dragon King Al Guang, and he goes, "Hey, bud, can I use you?" And this staff sounds pretty cool, right? It weighs 13,000 pounds, but it can expand to fill the universe or shrink to the size of a needle, so it can be whatever size you need it to be for that particular job. That's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like it sounds like one of the screwdrivers where it's like it'll do any job. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
an all-in-one magic staff.
Yes, all in one. You know, lovely bit of business. It's the
Monkey
Allen
was.
key of the universe.
It is. Monkey was delighted with this weapon of mass destruction. Jesus, it's a weapon of mass destruction.
It's a nuke. Yeah, it's a
It's a
nuke.
Yeah.
Also, it's like right. We need we're under siege here by these medieval people. Do you know what we should do? Nuke them. It's like that's too much.
Weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, George Bush
Oh,
coming after your ass, mate.
nice. Monkey
Uh,
was delighted with this weapon of mass destruction and used it to bludgeon many a demon there afterwards. Wow.
wow.
Monkey's just going around with this weapon of mass destruction, just bludgeoning demons to death.
And like when
I
it's just like
respect
this,
that.
when it says magic wishing stuff, I thought he was gonna like cast a spell or do something
Nope,
fancy
you just
with it.
bludgeon people to death.
Just use a hammer, like
I quite like the idea though that you actually are meant to use it for magic, like you're meant to wish, but Monkey doesn't know that, so he's just using it as an object.
yeah. This guy's a legend,
He's
really.
just going around smashing people with it, and everyone's like, "No, you're meant to. Oh, you're meant to wish with it. Oh my god, don't damage it. Oh my god, he's just using it to hit people. Oh, this is so embarrassing."
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't long before reports of Monkey's tricks started to reach the austere ears of the Jade Emperor. First, the Long Wang ocean dragons complained of rudeness and theft. Why do you think they're called the Long Wang dragons, Matt?
I I think those dragons are maybe have very girthy genitalia. That's what I think.
Oh, I assumed it was because their surname was Wang and they were very long.
Come on, Long Wanning is a very funny name.
It's funny. The Long Wang ocean dragons.
I'm sorry if that's inappropriate, but I just thought it was just funny. It's good.
Then, Yan Lao Wang, the god of death, lodged a formal protest.
Wait, hold on. Wait, the god of death. It's like, I am the god of death. How should I react? Oh, I'm just going to put in a complaint, actually, with your boss.
Matt, it's your favourite time of any podcast episode where you get to do a voice.
Okay, what does the god of death sound
So,
like?
Yao Lang. So, I want your best Chinese
Oh,
accent.
no. I'm not doing a Chinese accent.
I'll just do a god of death. Just do a god of death. Do our generic myth god of death voice. You know the one.
I think should I go with like a Brian Blessed kind of thing? That intolerable ape has just vandalized my filing system and made my nah, it isn't fact. The God of Death's like that intolerable ape has just
Nice.
vandalized my filing system and made monkeys immortal. What are you going to do about it?
So the god of death is protesting because monkey's doing all sorts of tricks with his powers and his magic staff, and he's robbing off the dragons, which is really annoying them, and his rudeness. So he's just being a dick. And then the god of death has noticed that he's actually managing to make his monkey subjects immortal, and I guess that's kind of cool. But so he's kind of worked for him. Monkey's got what he asked for, which is immortality. He's managed to fix it. He's managed to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. So fair play, Monkey. Like Monkey is like I think Monkey is on its way to a perfect score here. This is looking good. Not wishing to share needless karma, the Jade Emperor invited Monkey to heaven and gave him a job, which I assume is the Pixies did a song about that. This monkey's gone to heaven, without pay, of course. So wait, it's a volunteer role.
Yes.
This plan to keep the peace was amazingly successful for an entire day. Then Monkey discovered that his post as keeper of the heavenly stables was so lowly that even the horse manure ranked higher than him. Right, hold on. So the Jade Emperor said, "All right, we need to deal with this monkey issue. This guy who has a weapon of mass destruction. Let's offer him a job picking up angelic horse shit."
Yes, that's basically what his job is.
I mean, what an interesting. That's a bold gambit right there. Like, what's so good about having yeah, this is interesting. So, insulted beyond belief, Monkey ran amok, burst into the Jade Emperor's court, and dared to threaten his august person. The ruler of the universe sighed. Do you want to do a sigh? Consulted his advisors and bestowed a new title upon him. Great Sage, Equal of Heaven. And do you want to do an impression of the monkey?
I like him being cheeky. I might go Irish.
Yeah,
That's much better,
said Monkey, impressed. So he's called Great Sage, Equal of Heaven. But by his very nature, the Great Sage was irrepressibly naughty. He just couldn't help it. He gobbled up Laozo's longevity pills, stuffed his face with the precious peaches of immortality, gate crashed official parties, and made insulting gestures to all and sundry. Finally, he left heaven in disgust, claiming it wasn't good enough for him. Now, hold on. So he's eating peaches of immortality, so he's immortal, a bit like the golden apples in Norse mythology. Yep. He's gate crashing. But he's also had something called Laozo's
longevity pills.
Yeah, which definitely sound like
Viagra.
For erections, right?
Yep, definitely.
I need my longevity pill. I'm an old man. So Monkey's fucking off the place. So now the Jade Emperor finally lost his esteemed cool. He sent the heavenly army to obliterate Monkey once and for all. Nothing could withstand the mighty force. But the great stone ape, immortal, spiritually illuminated, and filled with heavenly essences, was not only indestructible, but also pretty handy in a fight. The forces of heaven made an embarrassing display and slunk off a defeat. There was nothing for it. The ruler of heaven called. Who do you think they're going to call, Dan?
The Ghostbusters.
Close enough. They're going to call
the A-Team.
No.
Power Rangers.
It's Buddha.
Thunderbirds.
I didn't expect
Fellowship of the Ring.
It's Buddha. Now,
nice.
Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, knew better than to subdue Monkey by a force. Instead, he offered him a wager. Now, do you want to do a voice for Buddha?
Oh, this could get... Yeah.
Just do something that's calm,
just
chill.
I feel like Buddha's really calm. Okay. If you're so clever, jump off the palm of my hand. If you can do that, I'll demote the emperor and give heaven to you. But if you can't, I'll expect a full apology and penance.
The Monkey King laughed. Laugh, Dan. There you go. He did. That sounded so Irish. He could travel thousands of miles in a single leap. The bet was on. Buddha stretched out his hand, and Monkey jumped. Now, there's a lot going on here. So Monkey can jump. It can defeat a lot of armies, but let's see what happens with his jump. Several thousand miles later, the great sage landed in a desolate plain with great columns reaching up the sky. Yeah, these must be the 5 pillars of wisdom at the end of the universe, he thought. That Buddha is just plain stupid to make such a silly bet. And to show his disrespect, he...
You just read ahead.
And to show his disrespect, he pissed all over the nearest pillar and jumped back to claim his reward. I didn't expect the word piss to be in there.
So basically, Buddha's like, right, if you can jump from my hand, you win. And Monkey's like, cool. So he's jumped from Buddha's hand thousands of miles. He's even gone to the edge of the earth. When he's got there, he's pissed all over the pillars of the edge of the earth and then jumped back. He's cocky, this one.
It's so interesting. So much going on here.
Is the Emperor packing his bags yet?
Asked Monkey as he landed. The Holy One raised a sublime eyebrow.
I don't know why you're grinning,
he said.
You've been on my palm the whole time.
An astonished Monkey rubbed his eyes and stared at a familiar 5-looking pink pillars on Buddha's hand. He then smelt the stench of monkey pee and trembled. He just pissed on Buddha's hand.
He just pissed all over some fingers, thinking it was his, yeah.
Wow. That's funny. The next thing he knew, he was lying on the ground with a mountain on top of him. And there he stayed for 500 long years, being fed molten copper and iron pills by an attendant demon while the moss grew in his ears. What the fuck's going on, Dan?
It's basically their version of Prometheus, I think. Like, he's getting punished for 500 years by being fed molten copper and iron by a demon.
But, not honestly being fed molten copper and iron, which is weird, is in pill form. What? By the time Guy Yin came along, the great sage of Equal of Heaven was a thoroughly humble creature. So he had 500 years to cool down. Fair play. As told in Journey to the West, Guy Yin enlisted a monkey as a chief disciple of the young Buddhist monk Tripitaka. Together with Sandy and Pigsy, he protected the boy on his quest to India, battling demons and righting wrongs along the way. His natural monkey trickery now had a holy purpose, which he unleashed with much enthusiasm, and his uncontrollable ego was kept firmly in place by a little device of Guy Yin's devising, a headband made of gold. The unsuspecting great sage was not prepared for the terrible torture of the Headache Sutra, my favourite kind of sutra. Whenever Monkey misbehaved, Tripitaka recited the sutra, and the golden fillet squeezed into his very eyeballs felt like bursting. Fucking hell, that's mental. Isn't this whole thing absolutely mad?
It is.
Try as he might, he could not remove it. Though there's no defense except submission, and pretty soon Monkey was the most humble disciple the world has ever known. Usually. After many, many, many adventures, the travellers fulfilled their quest. Monkey was rewarded for all of his efforts with the title Buddha Victorious Against Disaster, BVAD for short, and is made peace with heaven. We don't know where the great sage gets up to nowadays, but presumably he keeps himself occupied. Wow. What?
There we go. That is the story over the course of 500 years of Monkey, from being born out of a rock to being taken on a quest to help people in India. And yeah,
Monkey is the character that keeps on giving. That was good. Very good.
That was a good one, huh?
That not only was that a good one, it's a perfect one. So I think that shall we go and rank it?
I agree. Let's do this thing.
Okay, welcome back. So if you don't know how this works, we're going to rank this whole myth on the base of 40. There's 4 categories for 10 points each. There's life skills, creativity, um, moral rules, and WTF. And Dan. I gotta say, this is a high scorer.
This is a
I
high
got
one. Can I just say, firstly, shout out to obviously Pangu was really good last week as well with the whole like living in an egg and breaking his body apart. Chinese mythology, I think we're gonna have some fun.
absolutely. There's a lot of
Also, I
fun.
like that this one. Should mention that this one, quite a few other gods were mentioned in this. That we will cover their own stories. So it was kind of nice, I think, as an introduction.
Awesome. Well, let's give it a go. So, life skills. What are the practical things we learn?
But I
So,
mean, what didn't we learn? We learned how
yeah,
to jump. We learned how to give birth from a rock. We
yeah.
learned how to wish, and we learned how to immortality. We learned how to be super strong. We learned how to jump. We learned how to pee. We learned how to torture. We learned how to go on a quest. We learned how to steal things from dragons. We
Yeah,
learned how to. I did a lot. It's a 10, isn't it? Come on.
yeah. I really couldn't agree more. There's trickery. There's war. There's also a sutra headband which can bulge out people's eyes. It's a 10 if I've ever heard one. All right, let's go to morals then. Morals. So these are the ethical things that we've learnt, like the moral lessons. Um,
I guess it's don't be a dick, right?
which is,
That's the moral right here because he got humbled at the end because he was
mhm.
getting so cocky, he was getting more and more powerful, and he was getting cockier by every day. And the other gods, like it took Buddha and an almighty divine being to finally put him in his place and say, "Oi, you're not all that, buddy."
So, but like, I think it's interesting though because
I mean, they did do it via torture, but that's a whole separate issue.
yeah, I mean, like, let's sweep that under the rug quickly. But like, I
So
think there's
basically, he had weapons of. They thought he had weapons of mass destruction, and then they tortured him. So he's basically
it's like Guantanamo
he's
Bay.
like the Guantanamo Bay. He's the Iran of Chinese mythology.
Oh my god, that's hilarious, but sad. But yeah, okay, that's another depth we've got. But in terms of morals, I think that um Monkey never gives back until later on in his life. Do you know what I mean? Because he always keeps on taking and taking and taking and taking, and that's the thing that leads to. Because a lot of people try and
Yes.
come a lot of slack all the way through. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Jade
they are.
Emperor, the Dragon Kings, and stuff like that. He got away with a lot, right? But what I think is really, really, really strong is that he learns to be humble, and that time away actually does help, but also he is under threat as well. Like, so if you don't do this, your eyes are going to bulge out. So, yeah, and I think it's quite high. And there's also other stuff as well. Like we learned compromise. We learned that it's okay to reflect on your past and to think better of it. That's the theme of today's podcast too. And if we don't give that a 10 out of 10, what do we give a 10 out of 10?
Go on, give it a 10.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh buddy. Oh buddy.
Well, creativity, that's a 10. That's just how good the narrative is. It's all about how many interesting things. And we're doing this, whenever we rank these things, we tend to do it based on other myths we've done. You kind of all take with things, everything. Is it just a 10 for creativity and WTF?
So, but yeah, let's. To be honest,
Is it a 40 myth? Is this
I,
a 40 myth like Horace said? Because that was messed up.
I've already written down 10 for all of
You
them.
already have. Okay, there we go.
But let's just quickly go over why you think it's WTF, because I feel that creativity and WTF are two sides of the same coin. But yeah, WTF. There's demons. There's weapons of mass destruction. A monkey taking erection pills. There are a headband that bulges his eyes out. There's a Buddha who he pisses on Buddha.
There's weapons of mass destruction that he uses to beat demons with.
Yeah.
And then creativity, like you said, same side of the different side of the same coin. But creativity, it's very creative because it's all about like there's a real narrative. We've got like basically the 500 years of Monkey from his inception from a rock mother to
yeah.
to which is really WTF. A rock gave birth, and then all the way through him being like tortured and all that stuff, right through to him being humbled and actually finally going to heaven as an equal. Then you've got all the different characters. They really
Mhm.
there was a real journey there with all that. You really felt for all the different gods and characters that he'd annoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think uh yeah, I think it's the perfect score. It's a 40 out of 40.
We've only ever had another. This is the second ever 40 for 40. I never thought we'd see another 40 out of
No,
40. Not gonna lie.
it's really made my day. That's good. So it's up there with Horse and Set. an absolute cracking adventure that was. Monkey, Horror Sunset, 3 legends, and
3
yeah.
legends. Although, unlike Horror Sunset, this one didn't have Uncle Rape in it.
I mean, that's always should we give an extra bonus point for that?
What? Because it didn't have.
Yeah, bonus point. No Uncle Rape.
He's actually typing that. No, that's a 40 out of 40. I like that. That's really
41 out of 40, more like, mate. But yeah, so I think so. Dan, did you enjoy today's myth?
I really, really did.
Yeah.
Oh, you almost I said
Can
that,
you
but I
just- can you
really,
say that
really
again
did.
without yawning.
Sorry. The screen makes me yawn sometimes when I'm staring at the
Oh
screen.
my god! Remember when we used to like meet up in person
Oh
and
my
you would have to
God.
take naps halfway through, like,
Yeah,
because it was
honestly.
so sleep. But to be fair, we do 4 hours of recording, which is
Yeah,
intense.
it's a lot. But no, this has been really, really enjoyable. I skimmed Red Monkey before I obviously put it in the myth today, and I thought it looked like a good one. So yeah, I don't know what the other ones are going to be like. I can't promise they'll be just as action packed, but hopefully, if Pangu and this are anything to go by, then the Chinese pantheon really has some interesting characters.
For
So
sure.
I think very exciting to see where that goes. But yes, if you liked this myth,
Mm-hmm.
you can follow us at Myth Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. You can also email us, mythpodcast@gmail.com. Can't they, Matthew?
Yeah, they can do. Do say hello to us, and we can read out your message on air. Or if you don't want that, just email us and tell us not for air, and we can do that too. But yeah, other than that, make sure to follow me at Matt House Comedy online everywhere, and check out all my stuff. And if you want to help
can
out,
call Matt on 07743
dude, you can't actually read it out. Oh, when are you going to stop it? I have to edit that now, you prick. Do you think that's funny? I'll read it, your bastard number, and now I edit it. So actually, if you want to call Dan, here's
No.
078.
Blah,
Oh,
blah,
you
blah,
don't
blah,
like
blah,
it.
blah, blah,
I can
blah,
mute you.
blah,
I can mute you. You're going blah blah blah. But I can mute you.
Oh no, I've been hoisted
526.
by my own petard.
Yes, you have. You little shit.
Oh, I've basically done a monkey there, haven't I?
Yes, you did, and I've just buddied you, buddy.
Yeah, nice. What a nice end. Art, life imitating art.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we'll catch you all soon, people. We'll see you again, hopefully, maybe next week or next month, whenever that is. But we'll see you very soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Myths.